Hello guys and welcome to our Arts Live session for this hopefully sunny Bank Holiday Monday. So obviously I'm in the past and you're in the future. There we go. I'm pre-recording this because it is a bank holiday and we are all hopefully enjoying the sunshine wherever you may be. So for our session today, what I thought we'd do is that we would make some lovely simple fabric bunting. Now this is really simple to make, really easy. You don't need a sewing machine, you don't need to do any kind of hemming with the edges of your fabric and that. All you're going to need is some ribbon, or what I've got here is what's called apron webbing. So it's like butcher's apron webbing. So it's just a twill woven tape. But you could use normal ribbon as well. I just quite like this ribbon because it's quite vintage looking. So I've picked some pretty complementary fabrics with each other. So I've got this lovely pink and I've got this lovely kind of delicate rose pattern. I'll pick this up and show you. It's quite bright sunlight, but there we go. So yeah, I've got pink and I've got this lovely rose print. So you need some ribbon, you need some fabric. You're going to need a sewing needle and some embroidery thread. Some pins are really helpful to hold your fabric to your tape. And then you're going to need scissors obviously to cut things out. And you're going to need, move these out the way, you're going to need some paper and a ruler and a felt tip pen or a pencil so that you can make a stencil to draw on your fabric to make sure that your lovely triangle flags for your bunting are all the same size. So I've decided to make my bunting a little more interesting, that I'm going to do some small triangles and then some larger triangles. And I'm going to, I'm going to do small, big, small, big, small, big. To make my stencils, so I've got two already here, but I thought I'd show you how to draw them and how to cut them out. You're going to need a couple of pieces of just plain A4 paper. I'll move this out the way. So my small flag, I've done it 15 centimetres across and 16 centimetres down. So that just makes it slightly longer. So all we're going to do is from one corner on the short edge, we're going to measure 15 centimetres. We're just going to make a mark. Now, the important thing here is to remember what half of your top measurement is, because we want our triangle to be even down each side. So half of 15 is 7.5 centimetres. So we're going to measure in 7.5 and make a little mark. And then on the top and then part the way down, we're going to do that. And then we're going to take our ruler, turning our paper round, and we're going to measure 16 centimetres down, joining those dots up. So, I'll bring the piece of paper up to show you the dots that I've made, and hopefully this will make sense, although I don't know if you can see it. So, I've started from this corner and measured 15 centimetres across, and then I've put the centre point in at 7.5 centimetres. And then I've measured down to 16 centimetres. And we're going to join all of those dots up. So I'm just repeating this process to show you how to do it. So top corner where we started our measurement from, down to where we found our centre point, 7.5 centimetres across and 16 centimetres down. And we're just using our ruler and joining them up. Hopefully, if I bring this up to show you, you'll be able to see how we've made our triangle. The sun is very bright here today, so there we go, that's our small triangle. 15 centimetres that way and 16 centimetres that way. And then all you need to do is take a pair of paper scissors. Now, do remember, Helen Walsh and I are very particular about what scissors we use for what jobs. because paper blunt scissors, we never use the same scissors that we use for fabric as we do on paper. So these are definitely paper scissors. And all we're going to do is cut along the lines that we've made. And turn it round and cut back up the other way. And that's it. That's how we create our bunting flag template. Now, to repeat that on your second piece of paper, I'm not going to do that right now because you don't need me to show you the same process twice. But to get your larger flag, the size that I've used is 20 centimetres across, so that's your width is 20 centimetres, and then the height I've done at 22 centimetres. So you always make your length a tiny bit longer than your width. So that's our two templates. I will put the template sizes in the description when I post the video up for next Monday. So now that we've got our templates, what we need to do is we need to cut out some fabric. Now, as I was saying, you don't need to use a sewing machine or hem any of this to make your bunting. So this really is very quick and easy. Now, this fabric that I'm using is just a lightweight cotton. Just move my needle out the way. Don't lose this. I've already cut some of my flags out, as you can see, because I've already started sewing my bunting. So on this fabric, hopefully you can see, I've already got a hole cut out. And what you do is to make the most of your fabric, you do what's called tessellating. So instead of cutting your fabric out and just placing it along, or randomly putting it to different places, what we do is we turn it one way, draw our flag, and then we'll turn it the other way and draw around it again. So I've already cut 3 out, so I'm going to cut another 2, I think, for this. Now I'm using, to mark my fabric up with, I'm using a watercolour pencil, just because it's nice and soft and it marks the fabric quite easily. But if you're feeling fancier or more professional, what you could use is tailor's chalk, and you can get that in blocks or you can get it actually as pencils. So I've lined up my stencil, my template, against the last cutting line that I made, and all I'm going to do, making sure that everything's nice and flat, is I'm going to put my ruler over my template and I'm going to mark my fabric up. So we're going to cut it that way and then we're going to mark it down this way. And then because I want to cut 2 more out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my stencil around and line that up again. So I'm using right up to the edge of this fabric and I'm going to make a mark that way. Put that to one side, tidy myself up, and then to cut our fabric out and to cut it in a way so we don't have to do any hemming, we don't have to sew it to make sure it doesn't fray. What I'm using is what's called pinking shears. So hopefully you can see when I turn the scissors there in the light, they've got this zigzag to them. So cutting them with these pinking shears, this zigzag, helps to prevent fraying. Stops your fabric from unravelling, basically. These ones, I've got to admit, aren't particularly brilliant. They're slightly blunt, but we've had them a long time here at Heathlands. So we're going to carefully cut along the lines that we've made with our watercolour pencil or our tailor's chalk, whichever you've been using. And we're just going to cut our fabric out, our bunting out, from the marks that we've made from our templates. And if, like me, you like to kind of batch make things instead of doing them one at a time, what you can do is you could mark out all of your flags and then cut them all at the same time and make a lovely pile to be ready to sew with. So I've got 3 of my small pink flags, and I've got 2 of my lovely vintage rose print fabric. I'm just going to fold this up again.
Yes.
It's always good to tidy up after yourself, or tidy as you go. I should say, pre-recording your video today, I'm working from the lovely Purple Bubble, and we've got a full contingent today, don't we, Spiff? Oh, he's gone. Yes, we've got a full house. We've got a full house today, haven't we? Yep. So, I'm just going to work out how many flags I need. I think I've got the right number, so I don't think I need to cut out any more of the larger vintage rose flags, because if you start with a small flag, you want to end with a small flag. Trust me, odd numbers like that, it just looks more aesthetically pleasing when you hang your bunting. So yes, I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I've definitely got enough. In fact, I might have too much. Or do I need 1? 1? So you can, if you can't work it out like I'm struggling to now, you can lay it out to see how much you've got. I do need to cut out one of the larger ones. So there we go. We'll move that out the way, and we'll get our larger template, and again, lining up with where I had it cut out before. Just going to very quickly mark up my fabric. Who's giggling?
New then.
New then.
Absolutely.
There we go.
It's a flimsy stick.
So, very quickly, cut out the other flag that I need. So, having cut out all the fabric that I need to make my bunting, I'm going to move those bits and bobs that I no longer need to one side, so I've got a nice clean working area. Now, hopefully you'll have noticed that I actually haven't cut my tape off the reel. What you can do if you're worried about it unravelling is you can stick a pin in so that it doesn't unravel. So yeah, that keeps it nice and safe and stops it from coming to bits. I'm currently finishing off this small flag, and what we're doing to attach our bunting flags I should say, to our tape is we're interspersing with about half an inch between each flag, and we place a flag on the table, and then we carefully line up our tape over the top, and then to make sure that it doesn't move, we take our dressmaker's pins and we just pin it in place. Now normally what I would advise is that you pin kind of pointing towards the edge, but because we're using quite fine tape or ribbon, we're working along the tape today. So we're going to pin that down, and then I'm going to show you the stitch that we're using to sew our bunting flags onto our tape. So I'll probably need to cut off some more embroidery thread in a minute, but all we're doing is using running stitch. So that's a stitch where you literally just go in and out, up and down. The Fabulous Joy, it's lunchtime here at Heathlands. The Fabulous Joy has brought in nice lollies for us all.
Zooms and all they are. Zooms.
Are they?
They are, aye.
I'm going to have to very politely decline, even though I really love one. And
well, you're busy.
I'm busy. Yeah.
You can't be doing live broadcasts with a ice lolly gun on in yet.
Yeah, I'll have one in a bit. Because I quite like an ice cream, that'd be nice. So yeah, all we're doing is using our in and out stitch, our running stitch. So we go into the fabric and then we come back up again. And we're just going to do that all the way along. So what I'll do is I'll bring this up closer so you guys can hopefully see what I'm doing. And this is where I've got to try and get in the way of the light because it's really bright here at Heathlands. So all we're doing, you go in and then we come back up. So hopefully you can see that. I'm going to take that securing pin out and I'll show you again. Hopefully I'm blocking the light out. So we go in, we're catching that fabric and then we're coming out again. So yeah, literally all we're doing, if it will focus, is going up and down, in and out, so it looks the same on the back as it does on the front. And that literally is it. That's all you need to do to create your bunting. In and out, up and down, all the way along. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to continue sewing my bunting flags on, but what I'll do is I'll kind of speed up the video for you so it looks a bit like I'm a beavering ant or something, busying myself away. Or in the Benny Hill Shore. Indeed. So you can get an idea of how long it takes and just how easy and simple this is. So you'll probably hear some noises in the background, but I'm going to carry on working and I'll stop speaking for a little bit. Okay guys, so I haven't quite finished sewing up my bunting, but I've got almost to the end. So what I thought I'd do is just show you the effect by holding it up. And what I'll do is I will take a photograph of it hung up somewhere. I might put it out in the trees or something outside and take some photographs to put on the end of the video. And we'll also write a blog post to go up on Tuesday as well with all of the instructions and some photographs and things to show you just how we did everything. So that was it. That's our very simple and easy, no sewing machine needed, summer bunting. That's what I've chosen to call it. I hope you've had an absolutely fabulous bank holiday weekend, and I will see you live in a week's time. And what we will be doing, as I discussed, I think, last week, we've got another fabric project for us to do, and Joy's going to be giving me a hand with that, hopefully this afternoon after bingo. We're going to be doing some tie-dyeing. So you need some fabric, you need some muslin or some cotton, and you need some elastic bands, and you need some cold water dye. And I've just got dyed on ocean blue because I quite like the kind of traditional Japanese shibori look for doing this tie-dye. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to do some Japanese shibori folding techniques to do your tie-dyeing with. So this one I've already done. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to have to get out the light again. I folded it up in such a way that I've made this kind of triangle. So it's got all these lovely folds in, and that will affect how the dye soaks in to our fabric. So Joy and I are going to pre-make some tie-dye for you. So when I show you the folding techniques, I can also hold up how they come out after they've been dyed. So hopefully Joy and I will be doing that this afternoon, or maybe a bit tomorrow. And that will be our live activity next week. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this, guys, and I will see you all again soon. Bye!